Hurricanes go scoreless in the top of the first inning. We move to the bottom of the first inning here on WVUM. No score between Miami and North Carolina. Miami pitcher Brian Radzewski is on the mound. 5'11", 185-pounder from Miami, Florida. 6-2 on the season with a 2.96 ERA. He's making his 10th start. 48 2/3 innings pitched, 54 strikeouts, 17 walks. So exactly a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Opponents are hitting .242 against him. B-Rad has thrown 9 wild pitches this season, Scott, and he's hit 8 batters, both team highs. He's got to get that curveball working for him to be effective.
Exactly, and you can be a little bit wild. That can cause you to be more effective sometimes because batters are a little more timid against the pitcher if they don't know where the pitch is going to end up. But if you can be consistently wild a bit, if you can control where the pitch is going, you'll be in better shape. So we'll see what Radzewski's got, and you usually can tell pretty early on what kind of stuff Radzewski is going to give you. So this first inning will be a very strong indicator of the performance that we'll see for B-Rad.
You have to keep North Carolina at bay. They are 13-1 this year when they score in the first inning. So B-Rad will pitch against the leadoff hitter, Ben Bunting, the center fielder and sports administration major, sporting the maroon bat. Lefty-lefty matchup, and B-Rad fires a hard strike down the middle. Count 0-1 to Bunting. Bunting on the year, 276 hitter, started every game thus far. 1 home run and 26 RBI from the leadoff slot. The 0-1 shows bunt. He fouls it behind David Villasuso. Count 0-2. Let's get you set defensively for the Miami Hurricanes. No score, bottom of the first inning. Left field, Ronnie Rodriguez. Center field, Nathan Melendrez. Right field, Dale Carey. Left to right around the diamond, Brad Feger, Stephen Perez, Zeke DeVos, Harold Martinez. Catching is David Villasuso. And that is a fastball, strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out. A great start for Brian Radzewski here in this bottom of the first inning.
And when you look at the top of the order for North Carolina, lefty, switch hitter with Levi Michael next, and then another lefty. And then as you move through, it's going to be righty-lefty, kind of switching every other. And that'll be more difficult for the UM bullpen to deal with later because you can't bring in a specialist to take out a certain portion of the order.
Here is Levi Michael, the shortstop, righty-lefty matchup. He takes a ball outside, 1-0. Levi Michael on the year is a .341 hitter, but he is a Hurricane killer, Scott. He's 8 for 17 in his career against the Miami Hurricanes. It's a .471 average. That's a ball outside, count 2-0. He scored 4 runs and 6 RBI in his career against the Orange and Green. Here's the 2-0 to Michael with 1 out. No score, bottom of the first inning, as that's a strike in the outside part of the plate. Count 2-1. Michael's also red hot in April, hitting .419 this month. After a slow March and February. Swing and a miss. A hard cutter right there from Brian Radzewski. He's just throwing all fastballs right now. Haven't seen his curveball yet. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. No score, bottom of the first inning between Miami and North Carolina. Game 1 of this 3-game set and game 1 of the doubleheader that will be played today. B-Rad gets the sign from Villasuso. The 2-2. That ball's grounded at the plate, but it hits Michael in the box. So it's a foul ball, a dead ball. Count remains 2-2. And Radzewski and Villasuso have a good rapport together. They played with each other at Florida Christian in high school back in Dade County. Obviously, Villasuso's a couple years older. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Choking up on the bat is Michael, waggling it. The 2-2. Ball is grounded into the Carolina dugout. Count remains 2-2, so spoiling some tough ones is Levi Michael.
And Justin, yesterday's lineup was posted, and Radzewski, his battery mate, was going to be Shane Rowland. But now, with a doubleheader today, you usually don't want to put a catcher in back-to-back game situations. It's just very difficult. It's a physically demanding position. To do 18 innings in one day is almost unheard of. If you have 2 catchers that can do it, usually put one in for one game, one for the other. So the move for Jim Morris was to put Villasuso in this spot because there's a little more chemistry between him and Radzewski, like you mentioned.
Hurricanes wearing their green tops and gray pants. Here's the 2-2, and that's a curveball well outside and high. 3-2 is now the count. Canes wearing their green hats with the orange brim as well. So the payoff pitch awaits for Levi Michael. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. No score, bottom of the first inning, nobody on. The 3-2 from B-Rad. Ball outside. A 1-out walk coaxed by Levi Michael. And this brings up freshman phenom Colin Moran, the freshman from Rye, New York, who leads the ACC in RBI as a freshman with 52. The player with the second most RBI in the ACC is Stephen Proscia, and he has 42. So that just shows you what a presence Colin Moran, the big lefty, is at the plate. So B-Rad will work from the stretch. He has a great pickoff move, throws over to Harold Martinez, nothing doing. But Colin Moran, 359 hitter, 7 home runs, and 52 RBI like I mentioned. He had an older brother, Luke Moran, who played with Carolina a couple years ago. Brian Moran was his name, as that's a strike down the middle. Count 0-1 to Colin. Colin is the nephew of B.J. Surhoff, who was a legend here at North Carolina and also a longtime player for the Baltimore Orioles as well. So strong family ties, and that made him part of the Powder Blue. He has an open stance, lefty-lefty matchup. 0-1 count, 1 on, 1 out. And that ball is a 58-footer. Good stop from Villasuso. Michael stays at first base. Sticks across the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. No score, bottom of the first inning. B-Rad working from the first base side of the rubber. He works quickly, but Colin Moran calls time and slowing him down. B-Rad sets at the bell, and he's going to throw over to first base. Nothing doing again.
And you look at the numbers for Colin Moran and you say there must be something for this freshman. Maybe he just picks on midweek teams and has a really great performance against them. But no, that's not the case. The 2 big series victories on the year for UNC, FSU and Clemson, is when Moran perhaps had his best performances.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss from Colin Moran. Swinging at the fences way out in front of that changeup from Brian Radzewski. Count now 1-2 to C. Moran. On deck is the first baseman, Jesse Wiersbicki. 2 veteran coaches in this weekend series, Jim Morris and Mike Fox. And B-Rad throws to first base in the dirt. Good backhanded pick from Harold Martinez. Saved an error right there. So Radzewski really preoccupied with Levi Michael at first base. And Levi Michael on the season does have 12 stolen bases, second on the team. Here's the 1-2. Michael not going, and that ball is fisted in the infield, calling everybody off as Steven Perez. He makes the catch. There was almost some confusion between him and Brad Feger, and they don't really have a great rapport together thus far. Remember, Steven Perez just came back to play shortstop on Wednesday. Nonetheless, there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Hurricanes and the Tar Heels. Tar Heels got swept by NC State last weekend. Miami took 2 of 3 against the Maryland Terrapins in College Park. Now batting is Jesse Wiersbicki, hitting .336 with 5 home run and 28 RBI. 2 outs. Good hard fastball right there from B-Rad. Count 0-1. I love his fastball right now.
That's why he's throwing it so often right now, is because he's locating it so well, painting the corners on the inside and the outside. But now let's see how he fares against some righty hitters.
B-Rad lifts his leg and fires. Another ball in the dirt. Good stop from Villasuso. Count 1-1. We mentioned Radzewski has the tendency to get wild a bit. Has 9 wild pitches this year. He's hit 8 batters. And that's because he sometimes doesn't have a good feel of his curveball. Curveball not exactly on today. Here's the 1-1. Righty-lefty matchup. And that ball is hit down the right field line, twisting foul into the Hurricanes bullpen out of play. So a good cut, but not straight enough for Wiersbicki. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No score, bottom of the first between Miami and Carolina. We're live from Bryson Field at Boshamer Stadium. It's Scott Braun and Justin Antweil with you. Thanks for joining us here on this lovely Saturday on WVUM, the #1 college radio station in the country. Radzewski from the stretch, winds and fires. That ball is grounded up the middle, backhanded by Zeke DeVos. Quickly tossed over to Steven Perez just in time for the 4-6 fielder's choice putout. And the side is retired.